Hello everyone, it is October 29th, 2011. It is Saturday and it's about 45, maybe 47 degrees outside. It's a little bit chilly. Of course, could be worse, could be on the eastern seaboard where they're getting blizzards and stuff. But anyway, this is my first video on amateur radio. My call sign now is KJ4UTD, KJ4UTD, and it allows me as a general class amateur radio operator to use several different modes: Morse code, voice, AM and single sideband, and FM, and several different frequencies and several different frequency ranges, several different meter bands. And it's kind of exciting to be able to talk to someone halfway around the world using maybe 5 or 10 watts power. And that is a strange environment if you're considering a lot of the FM antenna or the FM stations that we may listen to on the radio may broadcast with thousands of watts of power and still only be able to reach people in a maybe 100-mile radius. I was first exposed to radio communications back in about 1956. I was in grade school then, and we lived in Illinois. My parents bought me a kit that I could solder the parts together. I had directions with it, and I think the kit was called an ocean hopper. And I could listen to radio stations from all over the world, all over in Europe, Asia, Cuba, and the United States also. And I remember hours and hours of fun to me at that time as a grade school kid. We didn't have TV. There were TV stations here and there in the country, but none by close to where we were, and you had to have an antenna that would reach or pull in the signal, and we didn't even have a TV. Anyway, I listened to radio stations from all over the world for years and years. When we moved to Arizona, when I was a junior in high school, my parents bought me another radio kit that I could solder the parts together, and it had a speaker on it. The first radio I got just had earphones. The second radio I got had speakers, and I again listened for hours and hours to the radio, listening to stations all over the country. Listened to New Orleans, listened to Cuba, listened to France, all over the world. When I went in the Air Force in 1966, although I said I wanted to be in accounting and finance, they thought I would be better learning Morse code. So I learned Morse code as I was ordered. And I listened to radio signals from all over the world by order of the Air Force. And then when I got out, I eventually got my ham radio license about 25 years or so ago. And my call sign then was, what was it, KB4KSP. And I thought it was kind of cool that I was on the police department and the last 3 letters of my call sign was KSP. Anyway, my call sign now is KJ4UTD. And when I was in Japan, my call sign was KA8CM. I was back up to the Mars network, military affiliated radio service. And then when I got out of the service, I got my novice license, and I've been on the air a few times, and I've got a radio that I bought a couple of years ago, used. From someone that I didn't know, and the thing doesn't work right, and never has worked right. I'm trying to get it going. I've got a 20-meter radio antenna up 20 feet off the ground. We'll deal with that later. I wanted to talk a little bit about antennas on this video before I stop. I have beside me here an antenna that I built. See, the radio waves don't care if you paid $1,000 for an antenna or if you made it yourself from things that were laying around. And this antenna beside me that you may not recognize as an antenna is a 2-meter Yagi antenna. It's highly directional. This is the driven element here. These are the feed points right here. And these are speaker wires that I had laying around. And I cut them to the right length. I fastened them to this piece of plywood. This is the driven element. This is the reflector. It reflects all the radio waves this way. These are the director elements, 1, 2. And this makes this antenna highly directional in this direction. And all I have to do is fasten it to a tree or to a mast, 20 feet off the ground or so, maybe 30 feet, and hook my radio to it, and I'll be able to transmit 2-meter radio waves on this antenna that costs me nothing. So, and the radio waves don't care whether it's expensive or not expensive. And the 20-meter antenna I have up down by the house is it costs me maybe $10, and you can get them that cost you thousands of dollars, but maybe it cost me $20. Anyway, there'll be more videos on amateur radio. Amateur radio is very interesting, especially the Morse code that is able to reach hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, be able to transmit to satellites and talk to other amateur radios that are also transmitting to satellites, be able to bounce your signal off the moon, and there are many other facets of amateur radio. It's a wide open field. All you have to do is study and get your license. So I have a general class license after years of study, and my call sign is KJ4UTD. You may hear me on the radio waves one of these days. You never know. Anyway, y'all have a good day. The sun has come out. It's semi-warm outside. It's about 60 degrees. In the sunshine, it's not bad. And hope y'all have a good day, and enjoy the winter time that's coming up. Those in the southern hemisphere, enjoy your summertime that's coming up. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.